Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to this month's coaching call. Super excited about it. Just going to go ahead and open up the Zoom room, get everyone on, and also record. Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to the public coaching call. If you are brand new, maybe to the channel, maybe you've never seen my content before, every single month on the 22nd of the month, I have a members only coaching call, and then I have a public coaching call. Obviously, the public coaching call is open to everyone. And then the members only is a much smaller group, which is open to members only on my Cosmic Society platform. And I encourage everyone to check it out. I mean, you can be a free member, you can be a paid member, you get access to hundreds of videos that have never before been seen, and also old videos that used to be on YouTube that are no longer on YouTube. So it's all there for you. We also have lots of other cool features. Like one of my favorite features that I came up with is called Surprise Me. So if you go into the Explore section of the members only page and you go into Surprise Me, it's basically like an oracle card deck, but with videos. So you ask the question, what do I need to know right now? You click on Surprise Me and the right video will pop up for you. So just kind of keeping in mind that we've got tons of incredible features all right there for you on the membership platform. So feel free to check that out. Couple things that I want to mention. You will only be chosen in this coaching call, these psychic readings, if your hand is up and you are in the Zoom room. So for all of you who are in the Zoom, please go ahead and raise your hand if you want to be chosen. By raising your hand in the Zoom room, you are giving me permission to call upon you. And then you're also giving me permission to have you live, on YouTube and just on the platform in general with your face and your name. So just kind of keep that in mind. And sometimes we do go really personal. Sometimes it gets super emotional. And I really appreciate each and every one of you and your vulnerability. These used to be paid coaching calls, and I decided about a month ago to really just open them up for free. I know so many of you are really hurting. So many of you really need information at this time. So I thought this would be a really great way to go ahead and give back. On top of all of the other things that I'm doing, but I really thought that this would be a great way to connect with all of you in this personal way. As always, take or leave any of the information in this video and this session. And then I guess last but not least, I do want to mention that for anyone who isn't called upon today, just know that all of the people who are called today, every piece of information or piece of homework that's discussed today is also for you as well. So maybe you're not called, maybe it's not your question, but regardless, there's information here for everyone. We are all mirror reflections of one another, and you're watching this right now at this time for a reason. And I always set the intention that whoever is called is a representation of what everyone else is going through, including myself. So I always learn something new. I have no idea what to expect. Everyone who's called upon has no idea they're going to get called upon. So this is one of my favorite offerings per month because it's so exciting, and I really miss getting to see your faces. And today I get to see them. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and close my eyes. I'm going to clear my energy, quiet my mind, and then I'm going to intuitively choose the first person to come on. So yeah, 1 second. All right. Okay, first person to come on in, Furhat. I'm so sorry. It's definitely like Danish or something. And I'm going to remember to ask everyone where they're from in the world today, because that's also really cool. Hello.
Hey,
Okay, how do you pronounce
hi,
your name?
Ferhat.
Ferhat.
Yes, it's a
German?
Turkish name, but
Okay.
I live in Germany. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you
very
so much
cool.
for having me. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. What can I help you with today?
So I want to know how I can remove the blocks and access my psychic abilities again.
Okay, perfect. So specifically blocks on spirituality, connecting, all
Yeah,
of that stuff. All right, let's go ahead
yes.
and scan your energy. Let's see what's going on and see how we
Thank
can
you.
help you today. 1 second.
Cool.
Hmm. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so first of all, I just want to mention that so many star seeds get blocked psychically. As a
Mhm.
matter of fact, just yesterday I was meditating and the same topic came up, and I wrote it down in my topic list of to dedicate a whole video to star seeds who are specifically blocked on their psychic powers and their connections. And I believe that we're all connected and powerful in that way. And there's so many reasons why someone would be disconnected, like past life blocks, damages to chakras,
Mhm.
fears, insecurities, safety issues, all of that. So it's like really wide. So when I tap into your energy, it's so clear where this block is coming from. And it seems very specific as well. I immediately got drawn to your past lives. So I don't see any real issues in the chakras. I don't see any major damages in this lifetime. It really has nothing to do with this lifetime at all. This is coming down to two in particular lifetimes and probably others, but these are the two most specific ones. I think that this specific reason why you're blocked is going to resonate with a lot of other people as well.
Mhm.
Um, okay, and I also want to mention too, just taking a look at your own connections in this lifetime, it seems like you've had really incredible moments of connection, but it's not
Mhm.
consistent and it never really happens
Yeah.
when you want it to happen. So I get that, but you
Mhm.
have had those moments. You do understand the power there.
Yes.
But once again, it's not tangible. You can't really grasp onto it. So immediately I get drawn to a past lifetime where you were an Anunnaki being, okay? And
Okay.
I want to see that you were one of the original founders and seed planters on planet Earth. Um, I didn't get too much about that lifetime. Like it was almost like I got a snapshot of that life, and the snapshot that I got was you had a lot of information, but you weren't able to fully discern or figure out or balance out the information. And more of this is kind of seen and unpacked in this other life that came up. So there's another life that came up, much more kind of human, on planet Earth. You were a male, and um, okay, the word would be prophet. Okay, so what you did was you would have visions, you would have downloads, you would prophesize basically, and you would have a lot of almost kind of like culty vibes of like prophetic, cataclysmic end times type of visions. All right, is what you had. And a lot of your prophecies, a lot of your visions ended up coming true. So a lot about like the religious and even like royal situations, predicaments at the time. So you would kind of
Mhm.
make, this is going to happen, or the fall of this family is going to take place. And those things did happen in more of a short term. And then you would have very large, very cataclysmic, prolific visions as well. And so it was like kind of like a doomsday cult sort of vibe, right? You're very spiritual, very connected. And a lot of what you were
Mhm.
getting was also true. But the problem is that you didn't have the filter. You didn't
Mhm.
necessarily have the discernment of, well, this is more likely to happen than this is. You were just getting all the information. And for you, all of it was the truth because you were experiencing all of it very realistically and vividly.
Mhm.
And because of that, there was a lot of fear in your community that you garnered around you, because it was everything in the kitchen sink that you were prophesizing, especially the really extreme dangerous things. And since that lifetime, because you didn't necessarily have the clear discernment or direction on the information, you decided, I'm not going to bring back my connections to information until I have a very clear understanding of, let's call it, timeline probabilities. Okay. Now, I would say for you in particular, one of the strengths that you have is called precognition, which is you have the ability to tap into future events. So that could be very prolific dreams. That could be just kind of a sense of knowing of what's going to happen, or maybe a sense of this is going to be a really fun night out, or this is going to be not so much of a fun night, like even simple things like that. Like you're very in tune to those future timelines and possibilities. And really, if I were to give advice on how to best discern between it's all the information, how do you kind of pinpoint? The question that I always have when I tap into future moments is, what is the most probable, or what do I need to experience or see in this moment to learn from, so that I don't have to walk through that probability? Okay. So I would say for you to really work on very clearly defining what is the most probable, or what is the most connected to you in this moment. Like, what's the purpose of attaining that information? And then I would also recommend for you to keep the information, the experiences to yourself until you're very clear on your own discernments. Okay. So that's the block for you, is you had access to almost too much, and you had very little discernment of what is pure light, what is darkness, what is manipulation, what is the truth, what is more probable as an event, and what is least probable. And the more you fine tune that, and the more that you're aware that you should be fine tuning that, the easier it becomes to kind of access the information and then navigate through it. And I just want to mention too that same thing, a lot of other star seeds are blocked because what I've seen is in past lifetimes, they blow their third eye out of the water, they access all dimethyltryptamine in their pineal gland, and sometimes they become a little bit, within the psychosis realm, right? Or the schizophrenia realm. And that's the problem. And that's why they block themselves, because it was too much all at once. So I've seen that as a more likely cause of the blocks, rather than kind of what you've experienced. But I think a lot of people can kind of learn from those dynamics as well. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. Beautiful. Fantastic. All right. Let me go ahead and clear my energy. All right. All right. Next up, come on in, Alana or Alana. And yeah, I always recommend in the live chat in Zoom, in the live chat in YouTube, connect with each other, see where you're from in the world. How's your week going? Those kind of things are important. Do you resonate with that past life, that story, that experience, that lesson, or not? All right, she is coming in hot.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is so cool.
So where are you from in the world?
Well, I'm Canadian, but I've just moved to the UK.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what can I help you with?
Yeah, so I have a few things, but I'm going to stick with, so my mom was in an accident back in 2020, and she died in October. And I just want to know if you could connect with her, see if she's crossed over. I've had many dreams, but they haven't been pleasant. So I just kind of want to get some clarity on that too.
Okay, so a couple questions here. What was the accident that happened in 2020?
She was hit by a car.
Car. Yeah. I was feeling the car accident. Okay. And then you said that she passed away in October, like this past October?
2020.
Oh, in 2020 from the accident?
Yeah. So her
Yeah.
accident was in August, and then 2 months later was when she passed away.
And was she in a coma?
Yes.
Yeah. For that time, for that duration?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And what's her first name?
Georgina.
Georgina. And does she have any other kids? Do you have any other siblings?
Yeah, there's 4 other ones.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Georgina. All right. Let's take a look here. 1 second. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So when I tune into her energy, immediately I'm getting drawn back to the actual crash site. Sometimes they'll be wandering around the hospital where they passed away, but specifically where she's at is she's like the actual location, and her soul is back at the crash site. Um, she hasn't crossed over yet, which is fine. This is why we're here, and she just keeps replaying the accident. It was just so sudden, and this is kind of what I find is that she hasn't yet fully understood the circumstance of what's happened. That's probably why the dreams haven't been so pleasant. It's kind of like a please help me sort of dream. Um, but I immediately also got her vibration, and she's like, the word that came through was like mother hen. Like she's such a mother hen, and like, her flock, right? And just making sure that all the kids are good, and they all have what they need. Yeah, it's just like a very, very lovely, very sweet, very even like angelic sort of frequency that she has. And I also want to kind of see, why did she have to take that exit point at that time too, just to make, all of the kids and all of the people who loved her so much understand maybe a greater picture of that exit point. But let's just talk to her first. Let's see where she's at and see if I can kind of get her to cross through the portal. So 1 second. Hmm. Okay, so I went to her. The first thing I told her is, says, I have your daughter Alana here. She's like, she's here. Where is she? And she's looking for you. And unfortunately, she's just kind of in this void space. And I said, well, she's here. Like she's here. And then there was this flash to the hospital scene, and this is really interesting. So for those 2 months, she was kind of in and out of her body. So it's interesting. Like she's even giving me this image of someone touching her hand. So it's almost like everyone who's in the room, in the hospital room, she can feel their presence. She can feel your presence in the room, and she can almost sense that someone's there and touching her hand, but she's not. She can't come back, and there's just almost like a fleeting feeling of like, she's like, oh, she kept saying like, I don't know what happened. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. And same thing with the hospital room. It's like, I don't know where I am. And it's almost like she doesn't know where her soul is in that sense. She doesn't know where her body is in that sense. So there's just a lot of confusion. This is why she hasn't been able to fully cross over. So let me just go ahead and open up a white light portal here for her. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So I open up the white light portal, and she's like, what are you doing? Like, what happened? Like, she's so much confusion. And I said to her, I said, something really tragic happened. And she just refused to believe it. She's like, no, she's like, I want to go back. She's like, I don't know where I am, but I don't want to be here and I want to go back. And I said, if you step into this white light, everything's going to make sense. Like, you're going to understand. And she didn't want to, because she didn't want to leave. She and that's the energy. And so she was just very frenetic. And so I gave her a hug and I filled her up with unconditional love energy. And immediately she was able to calm down enough to, it was like I took her hand and I led her into the light. She was able to cross over, which was really beautiful. You should be getting visitations from her that are way more pleasant. She immediately broke down, being on the other side, understanding everything that happened. So I'm going to let her kind of settle into that place, but I'm going to go to her higher self and I'm going to ask, what was this contract all about? What was this exit point all about? Just to kind of give you guys some closure as well. So 1 second. Okay. Okay. So when I take a look at her higher self, she like it's like an 11th dimensional angel. Like, she is like this very angelic form in just who she is, and in a very calm, like it's her, but it's just the higher version of her. And she said it was my time to go. And she said that her mission here on planet Earth was coming to an end, was completing. And I said, well, what was your mission? And she said it was her kids, that you guys are her mission. She brought in this angelic lineage, like through the DNA. Obviously gave birth to all of you and brought you guys here and brought you together. And her mission was being a mom. Her mission was bringing you guys to this planet. And this angelic version of her said, I was so needed on the other side. There's so much I have to do. And she said she felt like she gave you guys all of the tools that you needed to live your best possible lives. And so her higher self also wanted to say that a really big concept for her, just in general, is freedom. And that really comes through her angelic side. And it also comes through like wings. Like, I think like I see her with wings, but there's also this energy of like freedom. She's like, oh, I'm getting chills. She's like, it doesn't matter what you choose to do as long as you feel free in it. Right. And it's like, there was no expectations on like, you got to be a doctor or a lawyer, or like, it's like, screw it, you could be an artist as long as you're happy, as long as you're free. And that's the message that she wants to impart with all of you. And so she also says that she's going to be coming through and visiting you guys, yes, sometimes through the dreams, but also through like creatures. Like, there's something about nature and her. So anything that's winged, butterflies, birds, insects that just run into your face randomly, okay, that's her that's coming through with that message of freedom, to be free and to spread your wings and to fly and to really not be contained by anything or anyone. And she's like, if you guys, once again, chills, if you guys can carry that vibration of freedom with you in everything that you do, in all of your relationships and all of your careers, then she knows that she did her part in being here and being your mom. And of course, she's always going to be there. As a matter of fact, she gets to be there at such a close proximity now, more so than she ever has been able to before. So she's going to be around. And I think you need to be really talking to your siblings openly about this and letting them know about these messages. And then also talking openly about the experiences that you guys all have, and understanding that it's not weird and bizarre, but it's all connected. And I think those experiences are going to have a huge uptick now that she has crossed over as well.
Oh, thank you so much. And a lot of it resonates. Unfortunately, she'd had taken some pretty dark turns in her life, but I really believe that like she gave birth to 5 amazing people, and we've struggled a lot to be exactly where we are now. And I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Such a pleasure. Thank you. Okay. Let me go ahead and clear my energy. All right. Okay, let's go over to Stephanie. Come on in, Stephanie. And I want to actually just let everyone else know that if you have a loved one who has maybe passed away in a very traumatic or very sudden way, just keep in mind that you can cross them over too. You don't need a medium. You don't need me to help your loved ones get over to the other side. It's just about sending them unconditional love energy, opening up portals, and helping them through. All right. Hello, Stephanie. Go ahead and unmute. I can see you and your beautiful art. Is that your art behind you?
My kids' art, yeah. My
Wow.
children.
Like Starseed kids for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
For sure. Where are you coming from and what can I help you with?
I'm in South Carolina.
Cool.
And so there's an issue that I just struggle with. I'll just say it's my weight. My whole life I've struggled with my weight, feeling like I just always need to lose weight. And I've never been able to come to peace with it.
Yeah.
And years ago, I thought I heard that I would never fulfill my purpose on this earth if I don't like conquer this battle. Like it's almost like my Goliath that has to be conquered type of thing.
Yep.
So I just wanted to know if that's true. Have I locked into a lie? How do I get free and just come to peace with this so that I can do what I'm here to do?
Absolutely. Good question. All right. 1 second, Stephanie. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things that I wanted to check into before kind of getting some solutions or just some answers here. The first thing that I always think of when we get these messages of, you have to do this in order to complete your mission is like, ooh, is that manipulation? Is that some sort of dark, energy that's kind of trying to mess with you? Because it's usually never, there's never usually ultimatums, okay? And the other part is, it only becomes true if you believe it. You know what I mean? So there's also this kind of belief part of like, if you kind of give it that energy, then it does become part of your reality. That all being said, there is a bit of truth here to it. And I don't see it being some sort of like dark energy manipulation. Here's the truth. It really has nothing to do with your weight at all. But there's a bit of truth here in this is something to overcome in order to learn this grand lesson on being on planet Earth and to be able to move forward is to be at peace with your body. It has everything to do with you being a starseed and having something that is pronounced that you feel every day, that you see every day, that makes you feel discontent being in your own skin. And I want to bring up that a lot of starseeds have, like, the weight is the easiest thing to battle our whole lives. Sometimes it's a skin condition. Sometimes it's our hair falling out. Sometimes it's a physical disability, or being really, really tall, or being really, really small. Like, there's usually, if we have a very hard time with being human, we will put ourselves into a body, a situation, a dynamic where we have to confront being human. We don't fit in. We don't feel comfortable. We feel like this body isn't ours, or the skin isn't ours, or the weight isn't ours, and it feels awkward and uncomfortable. And it's like all of those issues are pronounced to make us look at them. And I see that. Okay, so I wanted to check in with that. So there is absolutely something here about you dealing with this, and it's not about getting fit or losing weight. It has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. It's not, once you lose weight, you're going to be able to graduate this planet. Has nothing to do with that. Once you love your body, no matter what it looks like, no matter how much weight you have, that's when you get to graduate. It's the word is like content. It's where you get to really be at peace with yourself, no matter what. Okay. And that's the crux of it. That is the lesson here. Now, I did want to double check as far as diet, exercise, and also like chakras. So I wanted to go metaphysical and I wanted to go physical to see, is there anything else as far as solution wise that you guys like, just do this, just eat a bunch of avocados and you're going to be good to go? No, unfortunately, there's none of that. There's nothing about diet or exercise. And I know that you've been through it all. You've really tried everything, and it's nothing to do with that. You could have the best diet ever. You could exercise every single day. The weight isn't gonna move because it has nothing to do with that. It's about how much you love yourself unconditionally. And what you've been doing your whole life is you've been putting conditional love on yourself, which is kind of ironic because you're so utterly unconditionally loving to everyone else and the kitchen sink, even people who hurt you over and over and over again. You're like, I forgive you, but look in the mirror. Can you do that to yourself? You haven't been able to. You've always put a condition on, I'll really, really love my body once I lose the 10 pounds. And then you lose 5 pounds and you're like, I got to lose another 25 pounds and then I'll really love myself. It's never ending. You're never going to progress vibrationally if you don't actually just accept that this is the body that you put yourself in and love every single inch of it. Okay? When you're at that point, that's when you can really graduate from this life. And it doesn't mean you're going to take an exit point. It just means that you can relax for the first time ever. Okay. I do want to mention too, like I did want to look at emotions. So sometimes extra baggage or extra weight is due to like also emotional stuff, like just harboring emotions. I took a look at your sacral chakra. You definitely are a very empathic person, and you definitely feel everything and everyone, and that's just naturally who you are. But you've been pretty good. Like in the past, I would say, oof, you got to focus on releasing more or like communicating more. These days, you're pretty good about not taking that on and harboring it, right? You feel everything, but you're not attaching yourself to everything that you're feeling anymore, which is great. And I think your kids, and you've learned a lot about that being a mom too, is like, they're going to feel what they feel, Yeah. So what I recommend here, this is actually something that I would recommend to my clients a long time ago when it comes down to self-love. The best thing that I can recommend for anyone else who feels the same sort of resonance, once again, it doesn't have to necessarily be about weight, but any sort of physical stuff that you battle with. For me, it's always been my skin. Eczema, acne, I mean, you name it, it's always been one extreme or the other. And it just makes me feel so uncomfortable in my own skin. Like I don't even want to look at myself. It's that kind of battle. And it's been for a very long time, pretty much my whole life now. So what I recommend is, if you have a full-length mirror in your house, all right, if you don't, maybe get one. Strip off all the clothes, all the makeup, all the jewelry, everything that you're hiding behind. Strip it all off. and look at yourself butt ass naked in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. What's crazy about this is we just don't do this enough. I remember the first time I ever actually told my human that I loved them, I cried. I couldn't even get the words out because it was so awkward for me to say, right? Like you might just stand in the mirror, start crying because you're like, wow, I've never actually done this before. And there's such a visceral reaction. And hopefully by the end of doing this over and over and over again, you can't just get away with doing it once. You've got to do it over and over again, to the point where you can say it out loud. You can say it proudly. And in those moments in between, especially on the hard days, to reaffirm that statement to yourself. I love you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Steph, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? What do you need from me today? All right. You need to be connecting to your human, and you need to be loving yourself in every moment. And I've said this about people who have addictions as well. It's like, if you have an addiction to eating chips and you're like, oh my God, like I've got this bag of chips and I'm going to eat the whole thing. Don't hate yourself for doing that, because that pattern of putting yourself down and hating yourself in that moment is only going to recycle the pattern of lack of self-love, of self-sabotage, of putting yourself down, of battling constantly with your own body and your own reality. As a matter of fact, say, hey, Stephanie, I love you for eating this bag of chips. You fucking go, girl. You do this. You know what I mean? And enjoy it while you're doing it, not as a self-sabotaging mechanism. All right. So just kind of being aware of how you're treating yourself. You're at a point now where you've really helped everyone else around you, right? You've really like brought them up. You're this pillar for everyone else. It's time for you to be a pillar for yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Oh, hi.
Hi, I want to talk to you. There, we gotta go.
Bye. Bye, Steph. Oh, so cute. Amazing. I hope that really resonated with a lot of you. And this is a very common problem that so many galactic volunteers have, is we're not used to this body. We're not used to this density. And we typically incarnate into a form where we have to deal with the self-love or the lack thereof in order to really learn the human experience. Yeah. All right. Let me clear my energy. Okay. Beautiful. All right, come on in, Sadie. Hello, hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Wow. This was
Awesome. So
pleasant
where are you
surprise.
from in the world, and what can I help you with?
I live in Marietta, California.
Cool.
I actually met you at your book signing.
Oh, awesome.
So nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Shoot. So many things. I think I really resonated with the where are my blocks, but I'm also, I think, more struggling with kind of what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I really feel like I'm meant to be doing something more humanitarian. I've been working for my family business for like 20 years, and I'm a little bit stuck. I know I got to kind of figure out my way out, but I don't have any carrot direction. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Okay, and then what is your family business?
We do safety inspections on cranes. So I run the business with my brother, which, yeah.
All right, perfect, Sadie. Let's take a look here. Let's see if we can kind of help you with that, giving back and feeling aligned to it. So one second. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So just kind of taking a look at everything. So the job that you have, all right, I just call like kind of whatever jobs, all right, and that's not to kind of downplay it at all, because there's so many people who need to just have these jobs, right, for financial reasons. I mean, mostly financial reasons, but it's totally okay to have a job where you're not in full service all the time, all right, and it seems like you're actually in a good position right now where that feels like still like a not a lifetime, but like it's a long time stable thing that is serving you on many different levels. But I do feel this restlessness within you of like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. And I think a lot of people are in this position of, I'm in this job and maybe I'm not fully ready to make a whole new career for myself. And this is the position that I see you in. It's like, I don't see that you're going to drop everything that you have to start a spiritual business. And like I said, that's totally okay. Like, we need high vibrational people in every single industry all across this planet. So here's what your guides are recommending. As always, take it or leave it. They're talking about creating an impact in your local community. All right. And this is actually a really clear message for a lot of people who are listening to this right now, who are also kind of wondering, I'm ready for the next step, but I don't know how to make that impact. And your guides are really kind of putting a lot of weight onto bringing people together in your area. Like I literally see like a small group, mostly of women, even 4 to 5 individuals, bringing them together. Maybe you want to put out like back in the day for me, I'd put out an ad on Kijiji or Craigslist, rent out like a small yoga studio and teach people telepathy who are interested. I didn't know these people, and then you start to build that community. And for you, it feels like local impact is important. And then also something face to face, like something that you can like get together and like, let's talk about spirit guides this week. Like, does anyone know anything about spirit guides? And you just have a circle where you open up these topics and you make this impact in this way. Okay. That's what I see that next step being, is a local impact. And we need as many people as possible doing this, going out on a limb, becoming their own spiritual teachers and spiritual leaders. And I think that there's a lot of people who think, but I'm not a spiritual leader. I'm not a teacher. I don't channel information yet. I'm not gaining access to all of that. But what I want to say to everyone who maybe doubts that is, you have access to so much information. You know what I mean? You're here in this moment right now. You've read the book, you've seen the content, you're a sponge and you've absorbed so much. And all of that is just universal truth. That's not mine. That's not owned by anyone. And you probably have more information than the average person who's looking to open up into spirituality. It's like, I see you being a door opener for people and cultivating and creating a community along the way. And like I said, this is a message for so many people in this group watching this video right now who really need to be that local leader and bring the communities together, because it's only in that community space, that face-to-face connection, where we can start to make impact and awaken these starseed souls who have been lost and questioning their own entire lives.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny that you say like gather a local group of women, because I've thought about that. Like I love being the door opener. I love like planting little seeds, and people are like, oh shoot, I don't know, let's, and then they start thinking about it. And yeah, so I could totally see that, because I don't know how I'd be able to leave my job. I mean, I'd love to do something more humanitarian, but like you said, leaving completely is, I don't see how it would work.
It's important that we talk about how it's not that it's not feasible. It's just that it's not always necessary to fully just upend your whole, like your let's call it 3D reality for the 5D Buddhist, whatever spiritual teacher life. It's just, if everyone on the planet all of a sudden awakened and said, well, I'm not going to be a garbage man anymore, or I'm not going to run a construction company anymore. It's like, we do need that as well, but you can have it all. You can have best of both worlds. And so I think that that's really important of why you were called upon today, is because there is this call to action for all of the other starseeds to start creating these local community groups, and to also realize that you're not wrong for having a whatever 3D job and doing something on the side and feeling fulfilled with your spiritual position. So I really hope that you do create that community, and even putting that out on the membership platform, right, in our forums and our groups. And if we got everyone saying, hey, is anyone in Germany and in this location, and getting people together just in this group, I mean, it's a great place to start, right?
Yeah. I suppose a little bit of my struggle, here is like, it's me and my brother, and there's a friction, and that it's like a repetitive reminder of the same friction that I had with my mom when I worked with my mom. So now I'm working with my brother and I've got the same circumstance, and I'm like, is this telling me to go? Like, am I just going to keep repeating the same stuff until I realize that I shouldn't be in this job? Or is it something about the relationship approach that I need to see? Because I can't figure out if it's a push out of the job or some type of life lesson with this particular personality.
No, exactly. I would say that if you had all these red flags, if the business was suffering and all your employees were doing wrong things, and if there was like a multitude of red flags in the business, I'd say, yeah, maybe that's a message for you to kind of exit or just, collapse the business. But if it's a specific personality thing that's repeated, that's an individual lesson. That's not necessarily a message. And I'll tell you right now that if you were to walk away from that, you're only going to attract that in a partnership and a best friend. Right. I mean, that personality is going to come back around. Yeah. So I think you're in a really good place. And yeah, I'm excited to see the community that you create, because you were called upon for a reason. So thank you so much, Sadie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastic. I hope a lot of you really resonated with that. And, I haven't really mentioned enough that we need to be creating these communities everywhere, all over the world. There's strength in that. And I love my online community, but as you guys know, there's only so much connection we can make in the online community, right? It's so great to see your faces. Like, that's why I love these coaching calls. That's why I love lectures, and all that great stuff. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm going to clear my energy, and we're going to call upon a couple more people. And then in a couple hours from now, just a reminder, we have the members only coaching call, which is a much smaller group, which means that there's way more opportunity to get chosen. And I always find that the membership only coaching call is always like, there's always a very specific theme with it. I don't know if it's just a different vibration of like people who are like watching and getting channeled, but it's always so different, based on the two. They're both great, but I always find that the public coaching call is very, I don't know, much more general, and the membership only is very specific. So if you want to hop into that, sign up and be an awakener, or if you are an awakener creator, please go over to your account section, go over to, I think it's called live events, and you'll actually see the Zoom link right in there for that. And that's happening in 2 hours actually from now. So yay, I'm so excited. All right, let me just clear my energy. Oh yeah, and then if you're on YouTube, I just want to say, if you actually enjoy this, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the notification button, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, but you're watching the channel, I'm watching you. No, I'm kidding. There's no threats, no threats. All right, 1 second. All right. Just to let you guys know, like in between people, I always put white light through my body, and I always cut all of the cords. Sometimes, always I'll cut the cord between me and the person I just channeled, which is really important. Back in the day, I used to continue to hear the thoughts of like my client that I had 3 hours ago. I don't know, just like some really weird stuff, or like feel their excitement or their anxiety. Like, and I just had no idea why I was feeling their energy. And then I realized, oh my God, if you're channeling someone's energy, you're connecting to them in that moment. And if you don't clear that connection, you're bleeding that into the next connection. It's just, especially in a coaching call situation, I could call upon someone, and then the next person, I'm actually not reading their information, I'm reading the last person's information, and that can get very convoluted as well. So cutting the cords, clearing the energy, and also neutralizing my mind too, because there's emotions and there's a lot of things coming up in each of the readings. I just wanted to explain that. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, come on in. Carolina, come on in. Hello, hello. Hi.
Hi,
Awesome. So you're not Carolina, but what is your name?
Ignacio Anguiano.
Okay, amazing. So what can I help you with today? Oh, and where are you coming from?
I'm calling out from Atwater, California.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Well, my question is, I had had blockages from my previous marriage, and probably is uh, coming up on my new relationship. So I just want to clear those blockages and about my career also. So
Yeah, perfect.
it's my
So,
focus on life. Or
okay. So specifically, what are the repeated patterns in the new relationship from the old one?
well, it's sometimes that I feel like I'm not worth it what I'm giving, or it's like
Yeah.
I'm like I don't have enough. Uh,
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Self-worth stuff. Let's take a look at it and see how we can help you today. All right. 1 second. Okay. Okay, there's a lot going on here with the repeated cycles and the patterns. The first thing I wanted to mention is like just kind of taking a look at your current relationship and your past relationship and the patterns that you've been through. Now, specifically, what I see is sometimes it's self-sabotaging mechanisms of like you get the word would be like suspicious. You're like, I don't trust this. I don't trust that you actually love me. So you get suspicious, and then there's like sabotaging issues that happen with the suspicion. But what you typically fall into is a little bit of like apathy or unmotivation. There's kind of this energy of like, well, I'm not worth it anyway, and this probably isn't going to work out anyway because it never works out. So why even bother? So it's like you get stuck in like stagnation, or you get stuck in a rut. And okay, so I wanted to take a look at why, like, what's the original cause for this, and then give you some solutions. But before I get there, I want to just tell you something that when I was tuning into your energy, I started to get a lot of intrusive thoughts. Do you know what intrusive thoughts are?
Yes, something doesn't like to blur in my mind or not getting the clear messages that I need to.
Yeah. And so intrusive thoughts can also be like really extreme, kind of like effed up, like negative thoughts. Like, you know, if you're driving on a highway and then all of a sudden it's like, well, just run over that person, or just like drive off the bridge, or like, you know, you think about, you know, breaking a cup on the ground and then taking the glass and like doing, you know, cutting yourself with the glass. Like, those are intrusive thoughts, like really extreme, kind of messed up, dark thoughts. Now, it was interesting because when I was taking a look at your energy, I started getting these weird, really dark, intrusive thoughts. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what's happening here? And I had to take a look at your energy. And I want to tell you that I don't know if you battle a lot with like maybe like depression or intrusive thoughts or just like some dark, dark stuff. But I want to tell you that none of that is yours, okay? That's not coming from your own mind. What I do want to tell you is that you've got some attachments. You've got some energetic attachments around you, all right? Now, I asked your spirit guides where these attachments were coming from. So the second I connected with you, they came and attacked me because they're just around you. And so luckily I was able to recognize them and then navigate away from that. And basically what your guides are saying is that through a very long period of the self-sabotaging, of the self-doubt, of the not feeling good enough, of just being at a low vibration, they've just attached themselves to you. And anytime you're having a good day, they feed off of that energy. And then the next day is a shitty day because they've just fed off of you and you're tired and you like, it's almost like you're at a place where you can't even fight back anymore. And there's the kind of apathetic, the depressive, the lack of motivation energy that you have. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're tired all the time too, because you have these things feeding off of you. So here's what I recommend for the entities, okay, for the attachments is they cannot exist in pure light energy. They just cannot exist. They do not like the pure light, all right? So what I recommend for you is to raise your vibration by focusing on appreciation more often. And that's actually going to really help you in your relationship as well, is just being in a state of appreciation. Your skepticism about the love that you have in the relationship or the love that she has for you in the relationship, your skepticism there also comes down to the low vibrational frequency energy as well of like, how could you love me? You know, that's like just a negative thought that's there. So I really recommend is like, think about how much you appreciate I don't know, the flower that's blooming outside of your house or the friends that you have in your life or whatever, but really focusing your mindset consciously on appreciation at least 3 times a day. You probably do that maybe once every couple months as you have a thought of appreciation. You need to really focus on that more often to raise your frequency. I also really recommend you working with pure white light energy. And of course, I do have a friend of mine, Sharma, who does the actual entity removal too, if you still feel like you're getting attacked and blocked and sucked. Okay. And that's for anyone else who's listening to this, who feels the same way that you do, is that you have something on you, but you can't get it off and you've tried all the things. That's when I recommend, you know, check out my friend. But I think that you're strong enough to be able to navigate this appropriately. Okay. Now, I do want to tell you that the original trauma of the self-sabotaging mechanisms and the feeling not worth it or not good enough that create some of the other attachments and other things that are going on is it comes down to abandonment. All right. So I don't know what's happened in this lifetime, but what I can see in past lifetimes is that you've had in a past life a wife of yours leave you. And then that kind of starts this thinking of, I'm not good enough. I'm not providing enough. I'm not there enough. And the more that you think that you're not good enough, the more that you become not good enough because you're anchoring that into your reality through your belief, through your focus. Okay. And now you are good enough, but because you're thinking that you're not good enough, you're creating the dynamic and predicament that you're not good enough, which leads to more abandonment. So you need to start really focusing on, I am worth unconditional love. I am good enough. I trust the energy that's around me. And then the appreciation, really focusing on the appreciation, okay? So what it comes down to is all of that internal work is what you really need to be doing at this time, okay?
Thank you so much for having
Awesome.
me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I think that so many others are exactly where you're at and can really learn from this channeling and your story as well. All right. So keep up the good work and right now you being chosen for this, I don't know, this experience is also a really great way to understand that, look, the universe has your back. Your spirit guides are looking out for you. You know what I mean? Like, you are chosen today because you deserve to experience that unconditional love, and it's time for you to really step into that high vibrational energy. And this is a great thing to start off with appreciating. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much
You're
for all
welcome.
the words.
Thank you. Awesome. Oh, that was so good. And I hope a lot of you really resonated with that as well. Let's do one more. All right. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Let's go over to Rebecca. Come on in. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Is it working?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you feel comfortable turning on your camera? Perfect. Oh,
Oh, did it work?
almost. There we go. Hi.
Hi. All right, I'm gonna go outside. Hopefully it's not too loud. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. So it was actually May 24th. I ended up putting my 2 dogs down. They were kind of aggressive, nippers. And I had an incident. And 2 weeks before that, I had a traumatic brain injury. And so I keep on thinking like maybe I wasn't thinking right or something, because I kind of feel horrible about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I could have kept them a little bit longer.
Okay.
But I was justifying it because I'm like, oh, I can't go anywhere. I've been in my house for, years, never going on vacation. But I'm also just wondering like how they're doing. And, if it's just been, I thought I would be okay, but it's been just tough every day since then.
Okay, so let me take a look at them. The process is the same for any incarnated being, right? It's like the afterlife is all the same. The fact that they can get stuck is the same. I always find that because there isn't a dogma or a belief within, say, animals and plants, they usually cross over right away. But I'll definitely take a look at them. I also feel like there's something here about like the brain injury as well. So what exactly happened with that incident?
It was a fall, and I
Yeah.
fractured the back of my skull, and
Concussion.
it was like a brain bruise, but I lost my taste and smell. I don't know if it'll ever come back, but I just like sometimes like I'm like maybe I wasn't thinking straight, or maybe I just I don't know, like
Yeah.
I mean I have regrets. I know that's kind of a waste of, it's not a heavy regret, but it's more,
Yeah.
I just hope they're doing okay and that they're not super traumatized. They were very affectionate dogs, and they were like my best friends. So I'm just
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then what are their first names, or what are their names?
Henry and Rocky.
Okay. 1 second. Mm. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. So the first thing I want to mention is they're definitely on the other side. They crossed over right away, and they like they are more galactic guides than they ever were dogs. All right, and maybe that's kind of the vibe that you were getting. There's so many things a part of this, and the brain injury that you had, which is just like a random freak accident. It's not like you were race car driving or something, you know, it's just like this random thing that happened. It all coincides. And then the issue that you had with them and that whole experience, it all coincides in the same, like it's all the same. Okay. So the brain injury, it was supposed to happen in your life. You were contracted to do that. You contracted yourself to have that experience. It's supposed to push you outside of your comfort zone. And the thing about the dogs as these guardians in your life is that they were great in your life for so many reasons. But what I want to say is they really kept you in your comfort zone.
Yeah. For years.
And for many years. And it's almost like, you know, you kind of use them as an excuse to also stay in and to not get out of your, oh, I got to take the dogs out and the dogs need feeding but I can't go anywhere because of the dogs. And so that needed to happen because during the time where you've had them, especially in the past couple of years, a lot of healing, a lot of being able to kind of surrender, a lot of being able to go inward and just you've been looking at things that you haven't looked at for a very long time. You've been doing the inner work. The brain injury happened to put your entire life on a different trajectory. And then the issue that you had with them nipping and that kind of stuff, basically the safety issue, they did that for a reason. They were a part of that for a reason at that time so that they could take an exit. The thing is, like, I don't know how else to put this. Of course, take it or leave it. But as much as you made the decision to give them that exit point, you were just kind of a pawn in the whole divine contracts of it all. Okay. And this is why you feel like, whoa, that was sudden, or I don't really feel like that was my choice. And like, why would I make that choice? So you're creating this guilt around yourself for making the choice. And of course, on a 3D level, yeah, you made the choice, but essentially there was a much deeper purpose and reason behind it. And it was so that you could get outside of your comfort zone. A couple things. You no longer need guardians. You no longer need protection. You are strong enough. You are wise enough. You have enough tools to go out and get out there. And it feels like it's so interesting. I'm going to call you out on this, okay? Since they crossed over, since they passed, you have now been utilizing guilt as a crutch to also stay in, to also hold back, to also keep yourself contained. It's like no matter what it is, you're going to find something
It's so true.
to contain yourself. All right. Yep. So stop it.
I know.
This is why
I
you
know.
were called upon.
Yes, stop. I know. I need to. It's the biggest thing. I mean, before it was like my family wouldn't come visit because they're like, oh, your dogs, we're afraid of your dogs.
Yep.
And then you're right. I mean, when that happened, I was praying to my spirit guides the whole way on the way to put them down. And I never got a second, I never felt bad about it. I even stopped and played with them for a little bit. And I never felt like it was the wrong thing to do. But then after the fact, I'm like, I still am not going out and doing the things I need to do. Like, you're right. I'll come up with all these excuses. I think I've just been out of the loop for so long. I don't even know how to take a vacation, but I know that I need to conquer that, because once I do, I can't just live in my house forever. But it has also made me very spiritual, and I've learned so much just by turning within. But it's time to go out and explore and, experience things.
So I have a challenge for you and for anyone else, because you were definitely called upon for a reason, not just this information, right? And checking with your dogs and learning this lesson, but I think so many others, even myself included, from quarantine, as starseeds, were like, we were kind of thrust into this reality in this world, and we're like, oh, I have to get the 9-to-5 job, or I have to do these things. And then when 2020 hit and we're like, oh my God, I have to stay inside. Oh, how awful is that? And you're like, this is amazing. This is the best thing to ever happen to me, because you can really flourish in that space. But now that things are kind of lifting and we can actually get out and we can connect with people again, despite all the extra fear in the media, there's this energy of, do I really want to do that? There's kind of this comfortability and safety of just being alone and going within and having your own space and doing your own thing. So I think that there's a greater message here with you being called as well. So I have a challenge for you, and I have a challenge for others who also feel kind of almost so content and so comfortable, you feel stuck. All right. So here's the challenge. The challenge is, I've got two challenges. One is, I challenge you to get out of your comfort zone by, maybe the comfort zone for you in particular that kind of comes up is go rent an Airbnb for a weekend. All right. That's what I recommend. It doesn't have to be like in a different state or a different country. It could be down the street. But get out of your space, get out of your comfort zone, just go. And then maybe you're like, I always order, like Nat and I are the same way. We're like, oh, why would we go to a restaurant when we can just order the food in, right? Go to the restaurant. Even if you don't have anyone to go to a restaurant with, just go out, like get out, So that's what I recommend, is like push yourself outside of your comfort zone, do something new. And then the second thing is, join a group. Okay. This is kind of a theme of this coaching call. We talked about other people starting groups. I feel like you need to take a look at your surrounding area. I don't like Facebook, but go onto Facebook, take a look at your location, see if there's any Facebook groups of spiritual people who are into, what you're into, and see if you can join their Wednesday meetup, or even the website Meetup is great for meetups,
Okay,
so
yeah.
get out there and see what kind of groups and interests you have. It could be a book club, a spiritual book club, but just get out and join the community and start understanding that other people are talking about this stuff who are around you. Okay. So
Awesome.
get outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Now's the time to push yourself and stop making excuses for not exploring the world that you're in.
Exactly. Yes, I will. I'm glad that you picked me, because that's like in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, I still haven't, gotten over this. Now that the dogs are not here, I do have one little other dog, but she doesn't bite, and I can have somebody watch her, or I can take her with me because she's a good traveler. But I was still coming up with all these reasons, and it's like, maybe it's just me, like I need to figure it out.
Exactly. Awesome.
Thank you so
Such a
much.
pleasure connecting with you, Rebecca. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Amazing. So good. Thank you all so much for being here. I really do appreciate all of you. I will see a lot of you in a couple hours for the members only coaching call. And definitely check out the membership platform. So many goodies, so many incredible videos to check out. And if not, we also have a free option on the membership too. If you want to get connected to the community and the forums and all of that, that's all available free of charge. So keep that in mind as well. But if not, stay on YouTube. Just make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you comment and connect in the community of YouTube as well. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And of course, I will see a bunch of you later. Bye for now.